Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are strapping in for, just a high-velocity look at some real organizational crossroads in the NBA.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure building. We've been deep in the source material.
A ton of it. And we have this whole stack detailing, everything from massive, imminent trade rumors to these mounting internal crises.
And some genuinely historic rookie performances that are really shaping the league right before the trade deadline.
Exactly.
And that's our mission today, really. A deep analysis of that pressure. We aren't just rattling off names. We're looking at why these big decisions are being forced right now.
We're talking about championship contenders, right? The Warriors, the Bucks.
And teams just desperately trying to figure out who they are. The Hawks, the Mavericks, they're all navigating these massive high-stakes situations.
And the sources really delivered. You're going to walk away from this deep dive with some key insights into Trae Young's surprising preferred trade spot.
The brutal reality of what's happening around Steph Curry and Golden State.
And this high-stakes chess match with Anthony Davis in Dallas. We have no time to waste. Let's unpack this.
Let's start where the picture is clearest. Atlanta. The drama around the four-time All-Star Trae Young has been, simmering for a while.
Simmering's a good word for it.
But the sources are pointing to a really definitive direction now. He is out.
And here's the headline from our stack that really jumped out at me. Trae Young has his eyes on one specific destination if he leaves.
Yeah.
And that is the Washington Wizards.
Which is, on the surface, a little surprising, right? But it's more than a preference. This is a calculated strategic choice.
Okay, so break that down. He's played his entire 8-year career in Atlanta.
Right, but the crucial detail, the thing that changes everything, is that the Hawks failed to offer him an extension when he became eligible at the start of the season.
And that's silence. That's everything in the NBA. That's the organizational handshake goodbye.
Precisely. When an extension opportunity like that is just bypassed, both sides know. The fit is, and this is a quote, just not long-term moving forward.
So that failure to extend, that's the ultimate signal.
It is. So now he's looking for what's next.
But the Wizards, they're in the middle of a teardown, a complete rebuild.
Yeah.
Why would a player like Trae Young, who wants to contend, choose a basement team? Is it just about the market or something?
No, it's about control. And it's about relationships. The Wizards' top guys, Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, they're looking for an anchor for all that young talent.
An anchor, okay.
But the real connection here is personal. It's history. He has these deep pre-existing relationships inside that front office. Travis Link, who's an exec there now, actually drafted Trae Young number 5 overall back in 2018.
Wow, so he's walking into an organization where a key decision maker already believed in him enough to make him a top 5 pick.
Exactly. And there's more. The GM, Will Dawkins, was with the OKC Thunder when Trae was a college star at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So you have this ready-made support system.
People who know his game inside and out.
They trust his leadership. They followed his entire career. This isn't about winning a title next year. It's about setting up his next decade with a management group that values him from day one.
That framing completely shifts the calculation, doesn't it? It's not about the current roster at all. It's about the security of the commitment.
That's a great insight into how this market works. And if we use that idea, that organizational commitment, as a pivot, let's look at the biggest decision happening out west, in Dallas.
Right.
Because their entire future is now being viewed through the lens of one rookie. And that directly threatens a Hall of Fame talent.
That rookie is Cooper Flagg. And the descriptions of him in our sources are, they're hyperbolic, but the numbers back it up. He just turned 19.
19.
And this season, he leads the Mavericks in total points, rebounds, assists, and steals.
Just stop and think about that. The list of rookies who have led their team in all 4 of those categories over a full season is basically non-existent.
Who's the last one?
The last one to do it was Michael Jordan. That is the kind of historic context you're dealing with here. This isn't just a great rookie. This is a franchise-altering force.
And the sources even gave a stylistic comparison that's clearly designed to get attention. They called Flagg the white version of LeBron James.
Albeit minus a little of the athleticism, they noted. But it speaks to that do-it-all mentality. He fills the box score, he's got great physicality, a high basketball IQ, and that competitive fire you just can't teach.
So when you have a rookie that is that dominant that quickly, the clock starts ticking on your expensive veteran.
Immediately. You can't afford to wait. The future is now, and it's 19 years old.
Which brings us right to Anthony Davis. A generational talent, no question, but his huge contract, his timeline, it's all bumping up against Flagg's arrival. So what are the sources saying about AD's future in Dallas?
AD's preference is crystal clear. He wants to stay. He wants to sign an extension this summer. And the Mavericks are trying to play it cool. They're telling AD and his agent, Rich Paul, that they are open-minded about an extension.
Open-minded. That sounds like a very diplomatic, very careful phrase.
It is. And this is where you have to apply that critical lens. Because Rich Paul is not a negotiator who deals in pleasantries.
No, he has a history of forcing the issue to get what he wants.
He does. This is the same agent who moved De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio, Brandon Ingram to Toronto. He knows how to read the tea leaves. So when an elite agent like that hears maybe, or open-minded, on an extension for a player of AD's caliber, what does that really sound like?
It sounds like no. It sounds like hesitation. And hesitation means risk. Risk that the extension falls through and AD's value and leverage just plummet.
That is the crucial insight. The priority for Paul is locking in that contract extension. It's not about staying in Dallas just to make the owner happy.
And the owner, Patrick Dumont, he wants to see them all play together first. AD, Kyrie, and Flag.
He does, but Paul knows that timeline doesn't line up with the trade deadline or with the reality of Flag's emergence. Paul cannot afford to wait around and risk Dallas fully committing to the youth movement.
So if he hears open-minded as no, he's going to push for a move before the deadline, get Davis somewhere that will commit to that extension right away.
Absolutely. The risk of waiting is organizational paralysis. If they stay, Dallas keeps waffling and the value of that extension just goes down.
Atlanta and Toronto are the teams mentioned most.
They are, but the simple takeaway from the sources is this. It's more likely than not that AD is leaving Dallas. Kyrie Irving, despite everything, sounds like he's staying, and the momentum around Flag is just too powerful to ignore.
Okay, so two massive superstar situations. Trae Young moving on because of relationships. Anthony Davis likely moving on because of cold, hard contract leverage. Now let's pivot to a crisis in the West that has nothing to do with rookies. The Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
A team that should be a contender is just facing a crisis of identity.
They absolutely are, and the word used over and over in the sources is crossroads. The whole agonizing drama around Jonathan Kuminga is the perfect example of their systemic failure.
The sources confirm he's basically been banished. Less than 10 total minutes played since the first week of December. Why are they doing this if they need an infusion of energy?
Because they are completely stuck. Kuminga is talented, but he is fundamentally buried on the bench. And rival executives are watching this, and his trade value is just actively lessening with every single DNP.
Can you quantify that loss in value for us?
We can. Here's a concrete example. Over the summer, the Sacramento Kings reportedly had a protected first-round pick on the table for Kuminga.
Okay, a first rounder.
That offer is now completely off the table. That's the cost of their inaction. So the educated guess is that Kuminga will be traded by the deadline. If he's not, a lot of people are going to be furious.
But the Kuminga issue is just a symptom, right? He's not the reason they're losing.
Correct. And the sources were incredibly blunt about the root cause. The accusation, and it's a severe one, is that, quote, everyone has failed Steph in this organization.
Wow. Everyone. That feels heavy. I struggle with that a little. Steve Kerr is a coaching legend. How can sources really point the finger at him, and even at Draymond Green?
Because the failure is systemic. It's tied to player development. The irony here is that Steph Curry is still playing at an unbelievable level, averaging 28 points on 47% shooting, nearly 40% from three.
He's still arguably the most impactful offensive player in the game.
He is. The failure is the entire ecosystem around him.
So how does that failure actually manifest on the court?
It manifests through their age and their complete inability to integrate their young players. The Warriors are the second oldest team by usage in the entire league.
Second oldest.
Which means they are running on old legs. That translates to fatigue, less defensive speed, and just a huge reliance on perimeter shooting. They have to infuse some type of energy around Curry to salvage what's left of his championship window.
And the specific failure is that guys like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga just aren't developing under Steve Kerr's system.
Exactly, which starves Steph of the depth and the athleticism he needs around him.
So if the front office isn't helping and the coach isn't developing the bench, the whole organization is just short-circuiting Steph's prime. That brings us to our next comparison point. Which contender is under more urgent pressure to make a move? The struggling Warriors or the contending but maybe restless Bucks?
It's a great debate. And for me, I land firmly on Milwaukee having the hotter seat, even though Golden State's urgency feels more public.
See, I lean Golden State.
Yeah.
Because it's purely about maximizing Steph's very limited window. He's still elite, And our sources suggest they're only 1 to 1.5 pieces away from being a serious team again. That feels fixable.
It's fixable, I agree, but if you think about the psychological leverage of a superstar, there is immense quiet heat on the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo has repeatedly and very effectively made that franchise feel the pressure to upgrade.
But that pressure isn't public, is it? He seems loyal.
He is loyal, but loyalty has a breaking point. The stakes for them are about making sure Giannis feels he has a legitimate high-level shot to keep contending. If the Bucks don't upgrade, and the sources say Milwaukee needs a couple pieces, which is a deeper need than Golden State's, he might reach that point where he considers moving.
So for Golden State, the pressure is about getting Steph's final chapter right, one last ring.
Right.
But for the Bucks, the pressure is about continuity. Making sure Giannis' story continues in Milwaukee for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That's a much higher stakes problem.
It is.
Yeah.
The Bucks' moves are all about long-term retention. Golden State's are about immediate short-term winning before time runs out. That difference in pressure says everything.
Absolutely. Okay, let's run coast to coast for a quick catch-up on the rest of the association, just picking out the nuggets that matter before the deadline. We'll start in Minnesota. The Timberwolves are humming, right? 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards dropped 26 on the Heat. Minnesota has the talent, but the sources emphasize this internal concern about their defensive identity. They're supposed to be an elite defensive team, but they lack that consistency in big moments. That needs to be fixed if they want to be a serious playoff contender.
And on a lighter note, the most memorable detail from the locker room chatter was seeing Anthony Edwards on the bench in the second quarter after getting 3 fouls, just casually snacking on pineapple.
He is completely unbothered, and you know what? I have no problem with a healthy mid-game snack.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Okay, moving east. The Cleveland Cavaliers handed the Pacers their 13th straight loss. Garland, Mobley, Allen, and Merrill combined for 87 points. It feels like they're finding something.
It's a flash, but our sources express some profound disappointment in the Cavs season overall. The consensus is they should be competing right at the top, shoulder to shoulder with New York.
And they're not.
They're not. The problem is this ongoing big man, small guard situation. They're struggling to find a sustainable identity with that roster construction, and that's why they're in the middle of the pack instead of being elite.
And finally, sticking in the East, the Orlando Magic are really struggling. They lost to the Wizards after being down 26 points. They haven't won back-to-back games since early December.
And this slump is very concerning. The Eastern Conference is described as wide open, and the Magic were supposed to be the team taking that next step.
Right.
The failure there isn't talent. It's a lack of competitive maturity, a lack of consistency. And if they don't turn this around by the deadline, sources suggest there could be some accountability issues coming for the coaching staff.
This whole deep dive has been about teams being forced to define their path, whether it's by a rookie, a savvy agent, or just the aging of a dynasty.
That's the theme. This trade deadline is less about just acquiring a star. It's about these organizations defining their long-term identity. We see the Mavericks picking youth over a veteran core.
The Hawks finally accepting the fit just wasn't working.
And the Warriors facing the painful consequences of an aging roster and organizational failure around the greatest shooter we've ever seen.
So you now have this high-level view of the seismic shifts happening across the league, from the agents like Rich Paul maneuvering behind the scenes to the historic rookie performances defining the next generation in Dallas. This is what you need to understand the next big headline.
And here's a provocative thought for you to mull over as we get closer to the deadline. The sources show us just how quickly a contending window can close. So considering the immense pressure